Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Drew Gann and Rusty Witten. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first Two Buck Sports Show recorded before lunch. That's right. We're coming to you bright and early this Friday morning. Uncle Buck and I had some life happen this week, so here we are. Uncle Buck, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Rusty. This is the first episode we've ever recorded and released it in the same day since we joined Bluff City Media. So, hey, it's first time for everything. So, we've started ball practice and then babies scream. And it just happens to be that my company, the good Christian company that it is, allows me to take off on Good Friday. And so we were able to do this. We were having to do it early because Rusty's devilish company does not observe Good Friday.
No, so I went to the gym like normal, but a little bit earlier, got back, getting ready to record, and our mugs are filled with a little different something this morning as we're drinking our coffee so that we can be here and provide quality entertainment for the good folks that tune in.
I mean, I think I like recording a little earlier because my voice, it seems a little, I don't know, sexy. What do you think, Rusty?
No comment, but it does seem a little bit deeper. That's all I'll say.
No, I haven't gotten those vocal cords loosened up yet. Because if there's one thing that you need to learn about old Uncle Buck, it's that he wakes up when he needs to. And need is capitalized. Well, you need to get up or you will be late. And
Drew, I love you, buddy, but we have tried to work out together in the mornings. We've tried to do morning things,
and for a long time.
We did. There'd be some hit and miss. Yeah. but you did for a couple months for sure. And but when he wouldn't show up, I'd send him pictures of our friends and be like, all these boos here and you still a ghost.
Yeah. So I miss those days. I just wish we were doing something else.
That's right.
So I hope everybody's had a good week so far. I'm really excited to be here. And so we're going to start this show the way we start off every show, and that's with our Bucks best and beef of the week. Rusty, I want you to start because you have a package.
I do.
This doesn't. I'm not hijacking your best of the week, but I do want you to open the package. For those of you who have forgotten, Rusty's birthday was March the 17th and 18th, and the package was supposed to be delivered on the 18th, but we recorded a day early. Or we recorded a day earlier than usual, and so it was delivered the day after we recorded. So we're opening it today. Long story short.
Yeah. Long story short, it's become my best of the week this week as we try and get into this thing. She's sealed this thing up tight. All right, here we go.
You got a pocket knife?
It's in the bedroom with my work. It's in my work britches in there that are ready to go, so I can hop in them and go to work as soon as I'm done here. All right, what do we have here? Let's go. Jackson rookie card, baby. Let's go.
Hold it up.
Heck yeah.
Hold it up close. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That will go in the collection for sure. I appreciate that. Heck yeah. I got a Dak rookie card that my brother got me last year, I believe. I got a John Morant rookie card, and now I got my boy G.G. Jackson. Thank you, sir.
I didn't even know you had those other ones.
Yeah, man, this is going to be a nice little collection when I finally get settled in my permanent home, and I've got my little Grizz display behind me for the show. That will certainly make that wall. Cheers to you, sir.
That's awesome. I'm glad it looks good. So, is there anything else you want to add for your best of the week?
That's going to be a pretty good best, tough one to top. I had a little spiel about my nephews. I'll keep it real brief, but I spent this past weekend with my nephews, man, and like growing up playing sports or when I do things, it's fun, and it's fun to achieve success, but it's just different when it's like that next generation, and they're not necessarily my kids, but watching my flesh and blood, Ty and Ryder playing baseball this past weekend and having fun and watching them just be, just good humans interacting with other people. Like, I don't know. I'm just grateful that they're my nephews. I'm a little bit biased, but I think I have the best nephews. I know you've got a couple of your own, and no offense to them, but
I just have one nephew, actually.
Oh, that's right. You got nieces, the rest of them.
I guess I should consider my wife's side of the family. I've got a few nephews.
Whoopsies.
Sorry.
But yeah, I've got some great nephews and just spent a lot of time with them last weekend, tearing up the roads for baseball tournaments, and spending time around them made me really, really, really appreciate them. So my best of the week this week is a G.G. Jackson rookie card and spending time with my nephews.
That's the way life should be, man. Like we just started Park League ball again. It's crazy, it's hectic, but man, there's just nothing like it. You know, it's fun, and especially coming from people like us who grew up playing Park League ball and grew up playing ball all the time, and we were the ones that were shuttled and catered to constantly for practice ball. You know, I expect to be like worn down. Like I expected my parents to have felt worn down, and I'm sure they did at some point. But I just find it fun. Like, you know, honestly, the only reason I'm not coaching 2 teams this year is because we have a 1-month-old and a 2-year-old, and one person on both of them is a lot in like a wide open space, you know, where Jimmy can just be gone. I mean, and she can be gone quick. So, yeah, my best of the week. I wanted to go second on best of the week because I feel like my best of the week may be your worst of the week.
Oh boy.
And it's not sports related at all. So, so I came home. I spent Tuesday night in a hotel in Jackson, Mississippi for work conference and stuff. And so I get home Wednesday around lunchtime, a little after lunch, I guess, around 1, 2. And Haley just had a horrible night with the kids. And so I was like, I'll just stay home. You rest, go do whatever you need to do. I'll take care of Banks, and then we'll take care of the kids and whatnot. Well, Ted had gotten nasty outside. And so she was like, take him and go get a bath. And so part of my best of the week is Tractor Supply, because you can take your dog to Tractor Supply for $10, and they've got like baths and shampoo and towels and hair dryers and everything. It's incredible.
Did not know this.
Yeah, I didn't either until recently. But they've got the stainless steel tubs that are elevated off the ground, so it's like eye level, like you don't have to bend over and wash it in your bathroom sink. Or I'd been going outside with a water hose and washing him, and he's wanting to scale the fence. Yeah, Tractor Supply. Go to Tractor Supply. $10. Not a sponsor, but you can sponsor us. People. But my real best of the week, I guess we went and got a bath around 2:30 because we're getting home about 2:45 by the time that the bus runs. And the kids are riding the bus now since Haley's on maternity leave. And so we kind of passed the bus and that Braxton Chloe's on. We come up to the stop sign at the same time is what it is. And I turn first so they can see in the passenger window. And I like, and there's, you know, Ted. And so I get out and I know they're about to stop. So I wait outside and me and Ted, and they get off at the neighbor's house and run. And they run, Uncle Buckets! Uncle Buckets! I was like, what are y'all talking about? She's like, and they said, oh, I guess it was just Ted.
I've been called a lot worse, I guess, but nice to know Ted and I look alike.
Y'all kind of look alike.
I mean, I guess maybe it's the white hair. I don't know.
I think it was. I got such a kick out of it, but I was like, I guess it's just how high he sits up in the seat. Because I mean, he's a very tall dog, even like when he's sitting in a truck seat. But I was like, yeah, that's getting written down.
I have a new beef of the week, I think.
You can be happy that they were looking for you, though, that they were excited to see you.
I'm going to choose to see the silver lining in this, and that was that they were excited to see me, and not the fact that they thought your dog was me. I mean, I've been called ugly in a lot of ways, but that might
You've been called a dog before, but not that you look like one.
Yeah. What a great way to start today. Great confidence boost. Thanks, Chloe BB. Appreciate y'all. Uncle Buckets loves y'all anyway.
All right. Is that your beef for the week, or you wanna talk about something else that's on your mind?
I think that's going to be my beef of the week. Again, I've been called ugly in a lot of ways, but I've never been compared to a dog. It's a loving beef again this week. I really didn't have anything otherwise. Life's been going pretty good lately. I was going to bemoan the fact that everything that tastes good has way too many calories in it. But we're going to go with the fact that I was compared to a dog. So
Yeah.
my beef of the week is I look like Ted.
It's not that they thought you were as fun as a dog or as loyal as a dog or, as pretty as a dog. It's just that you looked like a dog.
A dog.
I thought that dog was Uncle Bucket.
Wow.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Christmas
They
will
were
be real
so
light this year.
excited though. They both came running up. I'm sure what happened is like Braxton saw him and then looked at Clay like Uncle Buckets is here, and then she got excited and they come running, and they were like Uncle Buckets, and I was like, what are y'all talking about? And they stood there and looked at Ted and they were like, where's Uncle Buckets? And I was like, Martin, I guess.
At least they were looking for me.
Ted. I was like,
at least they were looking for me. That's what we're going to go with. Is they were excited to see me and looking for me.
Yeah. All right. Here's my beef of the week. Let me find it.
Oh boy, he had to take notes on it. Is that bad?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't have a beef. I wrote down stuff all week and I didn't have one.
Sounds like it's been
how
a pretty
about
good week, then.
the fact that Easter is going to steal my thunder for my birthday that's on Monday?
Oh man. Sorry, Drew. Sorry, birthday party's so lame.
Yeah, I don't have a beef. I've got off all day today because I work for a very Christian company, not a pagan physical therapy clinic. So I'm gonna get you
apparently you are a good way to get us sponsored here. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Speaking of sponsors,
we love Christians and pagans.
That's it. Speaking of sponsors, let's get off that real quick before we get fired from our new job.
Yeah, so this episode again is sponsored by Vicky J. Gann CPA. Vicky is my mother, and if she wasn't my mother, I'd still love her. She does everything. She does personal income taxes. She does payroll. She does businesses and individuals. Whatever you need, she can do it for you. She's got 25 years of experience, and like I said, she offers accounting services, income tax preparation, payroll tax, all that. She also offers QuickBooks. So if you or someone you know has a small business and does their own books and uses QuickBooks for that, she will help you set it up if you're a new user, or if you have any problems, she can troubleshoot them for you. All you need to do to get in touch with Vicky, aka Mom, is call 662-415-6446 or email her at vickygannCPA@gmail.com. And I guess if you're feeling risky and you want to try to drop in the office that she's at sometimes, you can find it at 1527 Highway 72 in Corinth, Mississippi. So tax season's coming up. Feel free to stop on by, see Mom, tell her you heard about her from the $2 Sports Show. It would really make her day. And check her out, 662-415-6446. Rusty, take us to break.
Yes, sir. We'll be back on the other side. Talk about the Grizz.
Not just the level of individual talent that he plays with, but it's also the level of his mind. We haven't gotten cross-court open shot this year. Right. We haven't seen that pass a lot. Number one, you got to respect him going to the basket. There's a roller. I got to watch the roller. He has the mind to be able to say, I see all of that, but now I see this guy over here. I'm going to get him this open shot. How shifty he is to always be going forward. It's usually side to side.
Yeah.
His dribble moves are side to side, but going forward.
Right.
Which is very hard to defend. I just want to get you, as many times can I get you to do this? But for him, it's not here. It is here, which is what are his moves to get down the floor. It's awkward for a defender to try to catch a cadence. You dribble. So now what I do is now when you go put that ball down, I'm going for it. But with him, it's hard for my cadence. But what's my cadence for you? I don't know what it is.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Who do you need to step it up? Outside of David Jones, I think David Jones is David Jones.
I don't think you need him to step it up because he's been performing.
Yeah, he's David Jones. Outside of him, he's fine.
I think Quinterly Needs to play better.
In what way? Like, I mean, he's facilitating the ball well. I mean, what do you, like, I don't.
To a 12 from the field's not cutting it.
It's not great. It's not great.
And I don't need a runner 3 from the top of the key with 3.5 seconds left.
Is Virginia the game where Jordan Brown is going to cook? Those dudes aren't looking to run the ball.
Cook what? Dude, I thought he was going to have a freaking night. He came out with that fresh cut, lined up, and then literally within the first 15 seconds missed a wide open layup. And then picked up 2 fouls right away.
I feel real lied to because I thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy.
Didn't think it did anything for you.
Well, I think
we all thought we were getting a 20 and 10 guy. And we are getting that in David Jones.
I'm not even getting 20 or 10 minutes out of the guy.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show. We are your co-hosts, Uncle Buckets and Uncle Buck, checking in here now, talking about our Memphis Grizzlies. This is the one thing we can agree on. We'll get to some more sports in the last segment on a lot of things that we don't necessarily agree on, but this is the one time you'll find us in harmony talking about the Memphis Grizzlies. And, you know, speaking of, not a lot of harmony has happened this year. All the injuries, all the lineups we've got to run out, all the 10 days and 2 ways and stuff. But we got a bit of
2 ways. That is the title of the album for the 2024 Memphis Grizzlies.
Absolutely.
10 days and 2 ways.
That might be the name of the episode.
Yeah.
10 days and 2 ways. But we got some good news this week, Drew. Not a victory. Lord knows we can't ask for one.
No, we didn't get that.
Holy Week. But what we did get is one Brandon Clark, a.k.a. BC, the bounciest Grizz, is back in a Grizzlies uniform, played meaningful minutes, played 20 minutes the other night in a loss to the Lakers. And I got to be honest, man, from coming back from an Achilles rupture a little over a year ago, he looked good. He moved well. He looked athletic. He didn't look like it slowed him down. Again, 21 minutes off the bench. You know, you get 6.5 rebounds. If you can get that out of a bench player, like, that's a good night. And, you know, there's going to be times where he'll go for double digits, but for his first game back and the ovation that he got, the welcome that he got back to the grindhouse, it was awesome to see BC back on the floor. I know he's a big fan of the show. Brandon, glad to have you back in the 1-5, representing the Memphis Grizzlies, playing a little basketball, man. It was awesome to see.
Yeah. Like I said, I've said this on previous shows. The victory here, the exciting part here is that Brandon Clark gets to play basketball. You know, he did play 21 minutes. He had, 6 points and 5 rebounds. And, if you just want to look at that, it's pretty blah. He was plus 15 in a game that we lost by 12. Yeah. So that was he was really impactful. But, points and rebounds, that's fine. Honestly, it's not Brandon Clark level, but that's not the point. The point is that Brandon Clark gets to play basketball in a season that is wasted for contention. It is a big win for Brandon, and honestly, it tells me that the front office guys, the medical staff, all these people that are involved in making this decision are human. Because it would have been so easy to just be like, listen, we've got 10 games left. We're not going to risk you tearing an ACL because you're favoring a leg, an Achilles that you're having surgically repaired. But that they're human and they want to see Brandon Clark succeed and they want to see him play. The payoff was there for Brandon, and I couldn't be more excited for him. I'm glad he's going to be back for next Friday's game against Philadelphia when they retire Mark's jersey. I mean, I'm just so happy for him that he got to come back. I was happy that Desmond got to come back, but even to a much greater extent, Brandon Clark, who's been out for over a year, for him to come back and get to play basketball it just made me feel good.
Yeah, it does, man. And it's good to see, especially a catastrophic injury like that for somebody whose game is above the rim, right? Like BC's not a big shooter. He's not a big mid-range guy. Like, he is known for those bunnies around the rim, big putbacks, and high-flying oops, right? Like, that's what he's known for. fact that this is such a catastrophic injury for that, because your Achilles is a big driving force. You'll be able to get up off the floor. It's a it's a major tendon. It's a medical emergency when it ruptures. And the fact that he's back playing his style of game, like, I'm here for that, man. Like, it's great to see BC back in a uniform and looking healthy. He looked excited, and it's cool because I talked about this on the ground yesterday. He is such a locker room guy, such a culture guy for that team, right? Because Ja loves him. He's always on vacation with Jaren. I feel like every time there's a Grizzly that's in Cabo, BC's right there with him. Right. And so he's just a good dude, puts his head down. He works hard, great representative of the team. It's just fun to watch him play meaningful basketball again, even in a game that doesn't matter.
And I feel like it's important to going into next season so that you're not – because I feel like you've got to have some game action in order to feel game confident. And so if you take this into next season and, he gets his first game action in October – on opening day, it's going to feel like confidence-wise, to have confidence in that surgically repaired Achilles, it's going to take him a little bit to feel confident with it in a game. And so I'm glad he's getting that out of the way now. He can go into this offseason and attack it knowing that he's healthy.
Yeah, as former athletes, you can't look at us and tell, but as former athletes, like, there's been times we've come back from injuries, right? And that first time on the floor, first time on the court, like, being able to get some run and not getting re-injured, it makes it feel like, okay, yeah, I can do this. You get that monkey off your back, that mental fog that comes with injury, retrain your brain to say, hey, I can do this and not get hurt. My leg's going to hold up.
Right.
So for BC to get that out of the way now, March, in what is an otherwise, quote unquote, wasted season, that's another huge victory for us going forward, because for the last, 4 or 5 months, this whole season has been about next year. And the fact that BC can get some confidence in those legs, like you said, then he can actually get some good run over the summer. And then in October, when the season kicks back off, it'll be nice to have him back to full strength on that bench unit, because the bench unit of Brandon, Santi, Gigi, Vance, and Luke, or maybe Marcus running that point, is going to be a lethal bench unit. And we need BC for that to be that deep bench that we had a couple years ago, that lineup of death, that we could run out there with BC, Jared, Ja, Dez. Like what is even, like, what are you going to do with that, right? Luke or Marcus out there as well. Like, that'd be a killer lineup. And BC is a huge part of this franchise going forward, I hope. I said yesterday, there's only like 2 or 3 guys that are completely untouchable in trades, and BC is as close to that as you can get for somebody that's not one of our superstars.
Oh, well, I don't know that I agree with that.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair. He's not untouchable for me. Now, if he comes back and, it's just still the unknown. He's still a guy that's coming off an Achilles injury until he shows that he's healthy and that he's Brandon Clark. But even Brandon Clark being Brandon Clark, before the injury, like, he wasn't untouchable for me, because, in my opinion, you only trade him for Paul George. Like, he's not untouchable if you want to go get Paul George, so that's my only point.
Fair.
Untouchable means untouchable, period. I'm not trading John Morant for Paul George. Like,
right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The Grizzlies got, go ahead, finish your talk.
I was just going to say the last thing, as close to untouchable as he could be for a guy not named Paul George or not an all-star center.
Fair. I know there's degrees of availability. I believe that.
Yeah.
So the Grizzlies have 10 games left. Of those 10 games, they've got one. I was looking to see how many are against playoff teams. You've got, just count the playoffs team for me. You got the Magic. That's one. Bucks, Sixers, Spurs, Cavs, Lakers, Nuggets.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. And the Lakers are possibly in the playoffs. They look like in the play in. You do have you do play 2 out of 3 against the Pistons. You go at Pistons, at Bucks, home to Pistons the night before Mark's jersey retirement against the Sixers next Saturday. So right now, if you look at the standings, the Grizzlies are in 7th place from the bottom when it comes to Tankathon rankings. They're a game back of Toronto, who, if you're keeping up with Toronto, like, You cannot keep up in the losing column like you can, like Toronto can. They have lost 12 in a row. So they've got a 1-game lead over Memphis, and then Portland's 5, Charlotte's 5.5, San Antonio is 7, Washington is 10, and Detroit, God help them, 12 games worse than us, 12-61 on the year.
That's awful.
Feel bad for their fans. Yeah.
You talk about like loser mentality. We've talked about here like the competitive tanks versus like loser mentalities in Detroit, Charlotte, Washington. Like I feel like every year they mailing in by the All-Star break, and it's just such a loser
Washington
mentality.
In particular. Like Charlotte, I watched them play, and I thought they had good players. Like Miles Bridges is a good player. LaMelo Ball is good.
Sure.
They had PJ Washington, but anyways, they've got solid players. There's no redeemable qualities outside of the fact that I just personally love Tyus Jones. There's no redeemable qualities for Washington. They've got the worst contract in basketball, and they owe him for like 4 more years.
Yeah, he's so bad.
And it's currently the worst contract in basketball.
Yeah.
I do love Kyle Kuzma. If they'd trade me Kyle Kuzma, I would take him. But anyways,
for sure.
Point being, the Grizzlies are going to have, the 7th best odds at getting the number 1 pick or a top 3 pick. And so you're really looking towards next season now. They've lost, they've only won 2 of their last 10. The Grizzlies have, and the schedule doesn't get any easier. And so I don't know if you'll catch Toronto, but I'm happy with this scenario. You've played hard all year long. You're able to, look at each other honestly and say that this was a season that was not intended, and injuries got us, and maybe that's something we address in the offseason. But injuries got us, but we did not give up. We did not hang our heads. We've played. We set the record previously set by the 2000 and what was it? 17,
15, 16
team that had 28 players. We've blown past that in here, the 23-24 season. And that team ended up with the worst record in basketball. This team ended up with a 7th. And that says something about the depth of the team, I think. It also says something about the leadership that they did not mail it in.
Yeah, and I wanted to speak on that for a minute because I've been a pretty vocal critic of Taylor Jenkins. And, I mean, I don't know that he's the guy that's going to bring a championship to Memphis. May or may not be. I don't know. But
you're going to pay him a compliment by, first off, saying that he'll never get it done. Okay.
I said I don't know.
You said I don't think he will ever bring the championship.
I said I don't know if he will ever bring us a championship to Memphis. I don't know. But the job that he has done this year is incredible. Like guys that, teams that win 20 games, the coach doesn't win coach of the year, but Taylor Jenkins deserves at least a wink or a nod because like the masterclass that him and the front office have done this year with these 10 days and 2-way contracts has been nothing short of incredible to be able to field a competitive NBA team that we've gone 2-8 in our last 10. But we found a way to beat Milwaukee. We have found ways, we beat the Warriors. Like we beat teams that are decent teams. Speaking of, man, Draymond getting tossed in the first 3 minutes the other night of that Warriors game. What a bum. Clearly his anger management works so well.
That was such a makeup call from the previous game where he didn't get thrown out for choke slam.
Right.
Yeah, they called foul. So like 3 minutes into the next game, they're like, "Oh, you argued, TT."
Yeah. You've been promoted to spectator, but anyway, just like what we've done, it's just been a masterclass. And so kudos Taylor Jenkins, really stepping up and managing what he's done, playing with the G League roster all year, getting, miles out of Lamar Stevens and Trey Jemison and some of these guys. Lamar would be a decent Grizz going forward, but some of these guys will never play. Winyan Gabriel, some of these guys will never play for the Grizz again in the future. Thank you for your service. Major props to Taylor Jenkins for putting out competitive rosters and lineups night in and night out, because we could be the Pistons and mail it in and be 45 games out of first place and be awful and a bad product. And there's been some nights where it's not been fun basketball to watch, but it's not been because of lack of effort or Taylor, coaching his heart out. So mad props, TJ. Appreciate what you've done this year.
Yeah, I think that this is what he does best. I think this is why he was hired. I think it was the reason why nobody knew him when he was hired from Milwaukee, but when he got the Grizzlies job, everybody's like, "Who is this guy?" And that's the reason. It's because you looked at the places that he'd been at Seattle. I mean, at um, Milwaukee, and then Atlanta, and then San Antonio. They were just really good at developing players, and he was able to build a team, a franchise the right way, and you've seen that. Now, yes, I will admit that some of his big game management things may get a little squirrely, but this is why you hired him. You're never going to suck and then get some, you've got a superstar that can take over games, and that's really all you want. You want a coach to get you there and a superstar to get you over the hump. And so it also goes to show you that season, that first year that the Grizzlies were the 2 seed, he should have won the Coach of the Year over Monty Williams.
100%.
Because if you can see Monty Williams right now in Detroit and Taylor Jenkins here in Memphis, you know who's the better coach. And
100%.
That Phoenix team had gotten Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And the Grizzlies had done nothing other than just get better. And I think that was probably the year that it wasn't the year they drafted Ja. It was been the year that they drafted Dez, but it was year 2 of Ja. So,
it just goes to show like that Pop coaching tree is just deep, man, and you just see like Pop's influence as he's carried it, stop after stop, and this is what San Antonio does, and it's why they bug the crap out of me because like they're down right now, but here, mark my words, here March 29th. Like in the next couple of years, San Antonio will be back because that's what Pop does. Like he gets guys like Wemby, he gets these guys and gets a big run out of them.
You get lucky. I mean, there's no doubt.
There's no doubt. But also, do you really think that the NBA and Adam Silver was going to let Charlotte draft somebody like Wembanyama? No. But Pop is able to develop these guys and develop these teams and create competitive lineups with, these guys that may or may not be NBA players, and he's been able to develop those.
It's funny, honestly, watching like guys like Jeremy Sohan not pass the ball to Wemby. And so, I don't really buy the conspiracy though, because if there was a conspiracy, if there was a conspiracy, Zion wouldn't be in New Orleans, and Wemby would not be in San Antonio. I mean, it's not Charlotte, but San Antonio. Don't act like San Antonio is like some mecca of sports entertainment.
I'm not talking about sports entertainment, but just like finding ways to win and like let him play for Pop and let Pop develop him. Will he be a Spur the rest of his career? No, because I don't know how many years Pop has left, but it's a better launching pad for him than Atlanta or Charlotte or Detroit. That's for sure.
Trust me. I would bet you $1 million that Adam Silver would have rathered him be in Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta is like the top 5 city in the world, is when it comes to population and sports market. I mean, that's what it's about. Don't forget, this is about TV money.
You're right, and I'm looking at just like pure basketball development. So you're probably right that it's one of the biggest market shares.
Atlanta doesn't support the Hawks. Those teams, even when they're good, have a half-empty arena.
I mean, I went and watched the Grizz play in Atlanta. I went and watched the Grizz play in Atlanta one time, and there was probably more Grizz fans than there were Hawks fans on a Friday night, and it's just like, I don't know, same in Charlotte. But anyway, I digress. It's great to see TJ doing well, and in Kleiman we trust, right? Like he's done a great job of managing these 10 days in 2 ways, and one of those players has been on some a 10-day and then a 2-way that needs to be a full-time Grizzly. And I talked about this yesterday on the Daily Grind. Is one Scottie Pippen Jr. It doesn't hurt when you've got the genetics that he has, but he is our next Tyus Jones. You spoke about him earlier. We're very pro Stones Jones on this show. Scottie Pippen has those tools that he could be our backup point guard. He's never going to be like the star because we've got Ja Morant. He's never going to be the guy that runs this franchise. But man, what's like quality minutes for a young player? And Luke and I talked about this yesterday. I don't know how teams missed on him. The Lakers last night were one of them. I don't know if it's just he had a short leash and did get enough to run, and it could be the level of competition that he's playing with. I don't know. But Scottie Pippen Jr., in my mind, has earned a full-time contract with these Memphis Grizzlies to be our backup point guard next year, even if it's only for 10, 15 minutes a game. He comes in, he looks in command, he doesn't look overwhelmed by the moment, he's very athletic, and he's just smooth with it. He can dish out assists, he's able to control the game. It doesn't get too big for him, like I said the other night. We talked about this yesterday. He had 2 assists, he had 2 rebounds, he only had 2 turnovers. I mean, that's a decent stat line for a backup point guard. If you can get those kind of minutes, 11 points in 26 minutes, you can get that kind of run out of your backup point guard that can keep you in games while Ja rests. I'm here for it. I am pro Scottie Pippen Jr. being a Memphis Grizzly next year.
Yeah, me too. And I'll be honest with you, with him, especially given his pedigree, his bloodline, is I truly believe that this is the worst he will ever be. I think he will continue to get better. It's like the argument people have said with Wembanyama all year. Oh, you're impressed now? Well, wait 5 years because this is the worst he'll ever be. To a lesser degree, Scottie Pippen Jr. is that way because I just don't think that there's any way that he regresses. And he is a different he's a different point guard than Tyus Jones. Everybody wants to make Tyus Jones the gold standard, and Tyus Jones was incredible. I love Tyus Jones. He was a great Grizzly. He was a great backup point guard, but he was the kind of guy that gave you a change of pace. He was the guy that you came off the bench and he needed some minutes. He kind of had to get into his rhythm because it was different than what Ja did. Right. That's not the case with Pippen Jr. He can just come in and he'll get less minutes than Tyus Jones did, but that's what you need. You just need somebody to give a break, give a breather, and he will be cheaper. So I was trying to look and see what teams that he's played on, and I know that he was drafted by the Rockets, or signed as an undrafted free agent. Can't remember, by the Rockets, and I know he played for the Lakers. Is that the only two teams that he played for?
I think so, because he was just drafted. This is his first season, so he was drafted, then traded to the Lakers. He spent 2022, 2023 with the Lakers one season, and then got traded to us and became a Grizz. So this year,
honestly, when you go to a team like Houston, who they were not good last year at all. And they had a lot of young players, and they had young players in the positions that he was in. And they had a coach that went on to be fired. And so I just think that that's probably the reason why he wasn't given a shot. It's like he wasn't getting minutes over Jalen Green that they spent the number 2 pick on. And then they had they were just going to draft the one of the Thompson twins this year.
Yeah.
And so they just weren't sold on him. The Lakers never spend much time on young people at all.
That's fair, especially with LeBron there. They've got a short shelf life, a little tight window that they're trying to win as much as they can. With LeBron being 39, though he didn't look at the other night with a freaking triple-double against the Grizz.
Scottie Pippen this year, just like Vince Williams and Gigi Jackson, and go down the list. This season, this production they've had is a byproduct of everybody being hurt. Like, this was not how this was supposed to go. If everybody's healthy this year, we're probably shrugging our shoulders at Scottie Pippen too. But the fact of the matter is that we've had to have him, and he's looked pretty good. Yeah. But don't forget that if we weren't down Ja and Marcus Smart and Desmond Bane and BC and all these players for the whole season, basically, then we wouldn't give a crap about Scottie Pippen Jr.
or Lamar Stevens or these guys that are going to be. So
we wouldn't be talking about Vince Williams would still be a two-way.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. But the other side is, like, we would have never even signed Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie Pippen Jr. may have been working at Arby's, and we'd be none the wiser. But it's just fortunate that it works out this way for all.
That's what I was about to say. I am the eternal optimist, and I always am a glass half full kind of guy. But like, this year has sucked on so many levels, watching us get beat and get hurt. But there's so many silver linings of Gigi and Vince and Lamar Stevens and Scottie Pippen Jr. that could be like, we know Vince and Gigi are going to be contributors for a while because they've got their big deals. I hope Lamar Stevens and Scottie Pippen Jr. are Grizz next year so they can continue to prove it. But both of them have earned a spot on an NBA roster somewhere. And so we've been able to see some of these guys that have developed and turned into actual NBA players. And, it sucks. But at the same time, as basketball fans that we are, that happen to cheer for the Memphis Grizzlies, it's fun to watch these guys develop and like, we rooted for that guy. Like, we saw Lamar Stevens come up. Hopefully he's a Grizz next year, but wherever he ends up, like, we watched him cut his teeth with us, and it's cool to watch him go have success on nights they don't play Memphis.
Right.
But yeah, these guys, if there's any silver lining to what's been a miserable season, it's that we've got to watch some young guys get some run and take advantage of it. Gigi, we talk about him a lot on this show, but at 19 years old, going up against LeBron and playing, these big minutes and having big nights. Lamar Stevens had 11 off the bench the other night. I mean, he's a walk-in double-digit bucket for you. Right. And if you can continue that, next year he's probably not going to get 21 minutes in most games, but if he can get you 6-8 points in 9-10 minutes, that's an efficient night that helps the team win. So any silver lining is the development of these young players.
Yeah. And so Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really happy with how this season, given its treacherous start and middle and end. I'm kind of glad to see that we've been able to glean some things from it that's good going forward. The most of which is that now Brandon Clark is healthy, and we will be totally healthy. There's no reason to think that Ja and Marcus and Desmond and everybody, Zaire, wouldn't be totally healthy going into next season. So just manage that going forward. If you have to tank the last 9 games, then fine. You've played it out this far. But anyways, Rusty, do you have any more Grizzlies talk we need to get to before we hit our second break and talk about everything else?
No, because we got a lot of sports to talk about after the break. So stick with us through the commercial break. We'll come back. We got a few topics to bowl through, and
then Rusty goes to work.
So much fun.
I'm just big on being able to vocalize what someone's role is. I always thought my best coaches were the people that let me know exactly what you expect from me. Now, I might not like it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. But if you come to me man to man and say, this is how we think we're gonna play you, bang, 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 and hopefully everybody understand. I'm not saying that this has not been done with this team. I'm just saying from my experience, we all have egos when we get to this game. Right. All of us, to the last person on the bench, you got an ego, but all of us can't be the man. Yeah, you got to be able to say, okay, he's the man, but what do I do and what can I do to help us be good? And if it's vocalized to you, then you know exactly and if I'm out there doing it and now I'm not getting the result from you, now we got to sit down and have another conversation. But as long as it is told to you, this is what we expect from you, this is how we want you to play, then I feel like, again, keeping this logo. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. All right, Christian.
Yes.
You are Penny Hardaway.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Today, you're going to play act. Okay. Gabe, because you're a Jordan Brown apologist, you're going to be Jordan Brown.
I'm a Jordan Brown apologist. Okay.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Y'all are sitting across the room from each other.
I said, don't tweet him hate. And he's like, you're an apologist. Like, good God. But either way, continue. We're in a room together.
Why did things break down?
Jordan, we brought you in this year to be the centerpiece of our offense. You came in out of shape. Let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. We play fast. Told you this when we were recruiting you. We play fast. One of the fastest paces in the country. You have to be able to get up and down the floor. You have failed at that.
Oh, well, I'm leaving. So
cool. Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show. Our final segment is where we talk about all things sports that we care about, where we talk about college baseball, pro baseball, NFL rule changes, and our bracket challenge. We got a lot of things to cover today, so we'll kind of get started here. I do want to start with our bracket challenge, just update everybody on some of the standings. It's been some wild basketball, Had a big upset last night with Alabama upsetting North Carolina, one of the prohibitive favorites to win.
Thrilled about that. Your favorite school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rusty is a diehard Tide.
Anyway, moving right along.
I
don't give a piss about another but a Tide. But right now we got Micah Thomas, friend of the show, down in Gulfport, Mississippi, as our leader.
Is that Micah's bracket? What's the name of it?
Chop 714.
I've been wondering the whole time. He was in like the 99th percentile.
He still is. Like, he's killing it, but he's only got 10 points available. So definitely some room to fall off. And we've got a couple others that are in the top 10 that have only 900 and 850 left. Your boy Buckets is sitting in 12th. I've still got my national champion there. I've got 1,500 available points. Hadn't looked real good yet, but I lost one of my Final Four teams last night when North Carolina got beat. So it'll be nice to see kind of who comes out of this. It'd be nice to know who wins this year. Last year we didn't know who our champion was. It'd be nice if it was somebody that we care about, somebody that we know wins that we can send our swag to. But shout out to Micah being in first place. Second place is Paul Wall's Revenge. What a great bracket name, by the way. Pretty Chalky's in third, Dr. Jones in fourth. All of those guys got a lot of points still available in the upper 89 percentiles. So been some wild basketball games. We had last night, another big upset in Arizona getting taken down by Clemson, a real scrappy Clemson team. And then Illinois.
You can take Arizona getting upset to the bank every single time.
Arizona, Iowa State,
Kentucky.
Purdue, Virginia, Kentucky are teams that you can pretty well bet the farm on.
I don't buy Iowa State.
Iowa State is one of those teams that they like when they're supposed to be really good is when they get upset, and when they're like a 10 seed is when they make their run. This year they've done well until last night. They got beat by Illinois last night.
Yeah,
good win for Lauren Massey's.
They got beat by
Illini. Right.
So I mean that's not an upset, but
my nephew Ty had him picked to be my nephew Ty picked Iowa State to be his national champ for some reason. But anyway, Lauren Massey, shout out to I guess so. Shout out to the Fighting Illini and friend of the podcast, Lauren Massey, with the big win last night.
We have not talked about this because we recorded last Wednesday night before the tournament started. And anyways, I picked Kentucky, and so I enjoyed the tournament for about 6 to 8 hours before I quit. And I just felt so stupid because you feel like you know better. But I just put so much stock into what I saw out of
Reed Shepherd.
And I just thought they were so good. And I thought it was finally the chance for them to go do it. But yeah, I was like the scorned ex-lover, and I just thought I could fix him. Like, this is the time. This is the time where he quits going to the casino and buying hookers and cocaine. I thought this was going to be it.
Nope.
He still came home without pants on with a blanket.
That's it, man. And now there are calls for it. Was so bad, Drew, that Kentucky's message boards got shut down the night of the game because there was so much vitriol in the Bluegrass State.
And I'll be honest with you, I appreciate that more than I can express the fact that because hatred is better than just giving up. You want people to be mad. In your marriage, you want to fight. You don't want to be like, okay, well, whatever. She hates me. I hate her. Let's go to bed. And so I love to see people, sports fans, so angry and irate over that, and especially since it's Kentucky and it's at Calipari, like it's great. So you're still in it. Your national championship, you went chalk. UConn, it does not look like they're going to get beat by anybody.
Nope.
They had the replay of last year's national championship, and they beat San Diego State by 30. San Diego State, who has not given up more than like 60 points all year, like in the tournament, they just decimated them. Man, they're so good. Anybody who didn't pick them looks really stupid right now.
Yeah, I mean, right. They're good on both sides of the ball. Donovan Clingan, hopefully future Grizz, we keep that pick. Looked so good last night. Just dominated on both sides of the court. That's just what they do, man. And I think, it's not going to get any easier for anybody playing UConn. They're only getting more and more momentum. And just like they look great. Big win for Clemson last night. Got some good games coming up tonight. NC State tournament darling with Zebo clone. DJ Burns plays Marquette tonight at 6. Gonzaga, Purdue, Duke, and Houston will be a phenomenal basketball game. And then I'm really intrigued by this Creighton Tennessee game because I've got Creighton in my Final Four. If they can overcome Tennessee, I mean, all they got standing in the way, is just Houston or it's just Purdue. But Creighton's a good basketball team. They score at a high rate, and Tennessee is not very deep. Their starting five it could go up against anybody in the country, especially with Dalton Connect. But outside of that, they're not very deep. And so that one's intriguing, but it's past my bedtime. But don't come on until 9 o'clock, so I don't know that I'm going to watch it.
Tennessee's biggest problem in this matchup with Creighton is that they're coached by Rick Barnes.
Yeah, 100%.
And he loses in the Sweet 16 or round of 32 every single time.
That's it. That's why Texas let him walk without a fight.
Right. And so, that's what I think. By far the most intriguing game for me is Gonzaga Purdue.
Gonzaga's playing good basketball right now, man.
Yeah.
They're a deceiving 5 seed though. They're better than a 5 seed, and Purdue is one of those teams that usually loses. But if that big man can get going, they're going to be hard to get beat.
Like I said, the first 1 seed to get beat by a 16 was Virginia. Got beat by UMBC. The next year they won it all. Last year, Purdue, the number 1 overall seed, gets beat by Fairleigh Dickinson, a 16 seed. So this is
sounds
their
like
year to win it all.
That sounds like an 18th century British poet, Fairleigh Dickinson.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
Exactly.
So
Let's talk a little bit NFL rule changes this week. Definitely some new things coming out. There's been some uproar over Twitter as they're making it more and more about two-hand touch and not tackle football. But Uncle Buck, what are your thoughts on some of the rule changes?
Yeah, I think we should just take them one at a time. First off, the one that you mentioned first, they eliminated the hip drop tackle, which, if you're not familiar, it's when you grab a hold of the offensive player, the player with the ball, and you basically just go limp from the waist down, and you just let gravity do its job and take the offensive player to the ground. The problem with that has been a lot of times what's underneath the defender's butt is an ankle of the offensive player. and that's what's resulted in the gruesome injuries. I mean, that's what happened to Dak. It's what happened to pretty much all of the the gruesome ankle dislocations. It's all because of the hip drop tackle.
And for those of you that may not be in the medical field like me, just know your leg is supposed to bend front to back. It's not supposed to bend left to right. And when it bends left to right, you get catastrophic breaks like Dak, Tyrone Prothon, Nick Fitzgerald, insert whatever favorite player here that's blowing out their leg.
Yeah. Laquan Treadwell. That was a hip drop tackle going into the end zone. That's what it is. You're kind of being pulled backwards. It's kind of like a lower body version of a horse collar, Yeah. And again, you think about rule changes, and it's all because of injuries. The reason why you can't horse collar anymore is because Terrell Owens broke his ankle in the Super Bowl, or the leading up to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, NFC Championship or whatever it was.
Yeah. And so, as far as do I like it or do I not on this issue, I think you should always defer to the players. And if the players don't want it, then you probably shouldn't do it, because they are the ones that's getting injured or doing the injuring. You know what I'm saying? And if the players were staunchly against this, I would have probably chose to just let it ride for a little bit, because honestly, I don't know what other options you've got. I think you're just going to have to piggyback defenders now. If you can't grab a hold and take them to the ground, like tackling somebody while catching them from behind, I don't know how you do that anymore.
Yeah.
I guess you just try to shove them really hard in the back and give them whiplash or something.
I think what they're trying to teach is
dive and flap their feet or something.
Yeah, that's it. Like wrap up the legs, because you don't want to go high, because if you go high, you can get trucked. That's how you end up on a highlight reel. But you want to go low, wrap up the legs, try and put your helmet in the hip pocket and not try and grab and pull down. And so if you can get your face in front, wrap up the legs, take them down. I know that's really technical, but anyway, that's what they're trying to teach, is like lower body tackling and trying to get these injuries off the game, which I'm always pro, things that make injuries less, but at the same time, like, it's tackle football. Like, you can regulate it out, and eventually we're going to have the two-hand touch game that we play for the Pro Bowl now. And that's just not what we want. Like, it's a violent game. Injuries are going to happen. The horse collar was a good call. Like, that's the one that should be taken away.
Of course.
This one, it's kind of a gray area.
I will say that in the past, this is not the first time we've had this same conversation. We did have the same conversation over whether it was before our time, but over the horse collar and about targeting in college football, and about leading with your helmet and all this stuff. It was always an outrage over, this is becoming touch football. But what's happened is that defenders have learned to work within the rules. Like, it works itself out. There's the initial outrage, and yes, there's a learning period in which there's probably going to be some defenders that look really silly and trying new stuff, but eventually they will figure this out and learn how to play in a safer game that we're still going to watch. Nobody has yet to turn off football because it is not as violent. We're still watching it. You can get mad, you can do whatever you want to, but people will always watch the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. For sure.
We do need to talk about the kickoff change.
Kickoffs.
I don't know how you feel. We have not talked about this. I absolutely love it because the alternative is just to keep doing what you're doing right now, and it's just not even a play. Pro football, they have made the touchback go to, it's the 25-yard line. There's so many injuries. It's such a contact. It's the most dangerous play in sports is the old kickoff return or kickoff play. And they've just incentivized teams not participating in this play, but they just kick it out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
This new rule, and it's really hard to explain. What I would recommend, if you don't know what we're talking about, get on Twitter, type it in. It's the XFL rule, where basically you've got two fronts. You've got the offense and defense. They're about 10, 15 yards apart from each other, about midfield. You got the kicker back that way and the two returners back this way. And you kick it off, and the offense or defensive blockers or defenders can't touch each other, can't move until the kickoff is caught or ball hits the ground. So it's really interesting to me, and I think it allows for some strategy. It allows for special teams to matter again. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Now, it's not the purists are going to hate it, but the purists, probably still want leather helmets. I want exciting football, and I think that's what this is going to bring.
Yeah, again, it's an attempt to mitigate injuries, but make it a meaningful play again, right? Because, like you said, you kick it out of the back of the end zone, that's boring, and then you get a commercial.
To thread that needle,
It was, because then you get a score, you get a commercial, you get a kickoff, you get a commercial, and it's just
you still may get that.
But in the middle there, where that kickoff is, it's not going to be just that dead play of watching big leg kick it out of the back of the end zone. You might get some exciting returns or some things that come out of it. So I'm here for it. Let's see. You never know.
Back when they would kick this out of the back of the end zone, you would get touchback commercial. You could cook a meal.
I mean, 100%, because they're 5-minute commercials now. Because they tried to shorten the game to make it more interesting, but they did it just for more commercial time. But anyway,
right? Well, we went over that, but and they also, if you do decide to kick it out of the back of the end zone, they penalize you because now the offensive team gets the ball at the 30 instead of the 25. So
exactly. So it's a little bit more really incentive to. Yeah, I'm here for it. Let's see what happens.
All right, we've got just a few minutes left. I want to talk about the season that's starting today. I think, Rusty, you and I have to pick a team because the UFL starts tomorrow.
Well, I think it's obvious who we're going to pick.
I don't think so, because we're not picking the same team. So, as the bigger man, I will concede the Memphis Showboats to you.
That's who I've already followed them on all social medias. I'm going to go try and catch a game, so I appreciate that.
I will take the Birmingham. What's their name? Stallions.
Yeah,
because my boy Matt Corral is QB1, and so I've got to have a rooting interest. I mean,
sure,
yeah, the Showboats are cool. They're from Memphis. Honestly, the reason why I love the Memphis Grizzlies is because I started going to Memphis Grizzlies games. So proximity matters. However, I've got blood, sweat, tears, and Matt Corral. He's probably my second favorite quarterback to ever play at Ole Miss. I'm here for the redemption story. I want to see Matt Corral, and I want to root for a team that has a quarterback that I love, and I love Matt Corral. So, it's the Birmingham Stallions for me.
That's fair. That's fair. And I lived in Memphis for 5 years, so I'm grateful to take on the 901 and root for the Showboats as a nod to some of their previous teams, that drafted Reggie White back in the day. So go Showboats.
So tomorrow's game starts off with the Birmingham Stallions. They get the first look at the UFL will be with the Birmingham Stallions versus the Renegades. I'm not really sure where they're from.
I think that's Houston.
I want to say it's
Dallas?
DC Defenders. It's a D school. It's a D.
Oh, it's Arlington. It's Arlington. It's Arlington, Texas. So it's Arlington Renegades.
And then tomorrow you also get the St. Louis Battlehawks versus the Panthers, Michigan Panthers. This Sunday, the DC Defenders versus the Brahmas, and your Showboats versus the Houston Roughnecks Sunday afternoon.
Mhm.
So we're going to tune into this. We're going to we've picked a team. We probably won't talk about it very much on this show. However, listen, I love Matt Corral, Mr. Showboat. Whoever the decision maker is, a Showboat. We will make this the official Memphis Showboats podcast for a fee. So hit us up.
Yeah.
Mark, if you guys, Mark, Kenny, you guys, if y'all want a dedicated show for the UFL, we could swing it. We can get in on day one here. We can talk about it a little bit more. Just give us some time.
Yeah.
So, but mainly the main pitch here is defenders guy. I mean, Showboats guy. Like whoever you are, decision maker. Send us some merch. Send us some money. Yeah. We'll talk about it.
I'll gladly rock a Showboats hat, shirt, whatever you sell, scarf. Send me something.
Corral, you're dead to me.
Hey, real quick as we wrap up, college baseball is back in full swing. Just real brief. Today apparently is Mississippi State versus Florida, because we play Florida at home in softball, at Florida for women's tennis, and then we're playing at Florida for baseball. And that one makes me a little bit more nervous. Went to College Station last week, went 1 out of 3. If we go 1 out of 3 again this week at Florida, I'll be ecstatic. I don't know if you saw. Did you see Arkansas? They just beat the brakes out off of LSU last night.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, LSU. Listen, you're fitting the mold, man. We don't make the rules. You're just following it.
I think Arkansas is the best team in the country, and I know they're ranked number 1, but
good,
they're also playing like it. That Hagen Smith is going to be the Golden Spikes Award winner. Like,
it's not even close. It's not even close. We'll see if they can actually make a deep run in the postseason, because we know that Arkansas is the Rick Barnes of college baseball. They'll get there, but they won't do much with it. But yeah, go Dogs, Hail State. Let's beat Florida this weekend and get back on our winning ways before we play at Vanderbilt next week. So that's all I got for this week, man. Anything you want to add to it?
Yeah, if you just want to recap last week real quick, I know State lost 2 out of 3 at Texas A&M. Ole Miss lost 2 out of 3 at Tennessee. I'll stand by it. It can be as simple as this sometimes, is that go win 1 on the road, try to win 2 at home. You're on the road again this week against Florida. We're at home to Kentucky. And so Ole Miss, if you are a good team, if you are on average a good team in the SEC, you go take 2 this weekend against Kentucky. If you want to be anything more than good, go sweep them. It's that simple. We've got a bad taste in our mouth against that. Against Tennessee last week.
Yeah.
Ole Miss won the middle game in dramatic fashion. The bookend games on Friday and Sunday, we played a combined 14 innings. So you just got shelled. And look out, that Tennessee team, especially in that stadium, can freaking rake. I mean, y'all don't play them this year in the regular season, I don't think. Just keep a side eye glance at them sometime and just validate. I hope they validate what they did to Ole Miss last year throughout the rest of last weekend, throughout the rest of the season, because they just, I think they hit 10 or 11 home runs, at least 10 or 11 home runs over the weekend.
They can break. Yeah, they can hit.
And it was just such timely home runs.
We do play Tennessee a little bit later. I forgot. It's not. We're at Florida. We're home versus Georgia next week, which is not a whole lot easier because they got that kid
Charlie
Condon that is just absolutely mad at baseballs. He's getting most home runs in the country, highest batting average in the country, which those two usually don't go together.
Right.
But find a way to win one against Florida, and let's go whole court against Georgia next weekend. But baseball's back.
And next week is Ole Miss in Oxford.
It's at Oxford. We may have to find a way to sneak down there for a game and do some
I'll be there.
Yeah.
You've got to find a way to sneak down.
I'll find a way to get down there. I'll come wear my maroon, and we'll do some live reporting from the game. But
I tell you what,
baseball's back. Go ahead.
You find somebody to watch my kids, and then I'll take you, because I just can't leave all 4 kids with Haley. But if you find some way to offload a couple of them, maybe.
Mama Lee, where you at?
I may have a ticket.
Mama Lee, where you at? I need some babysitting services so I can go watch some baseball. Yesterday was a national holiday, or it should be. Baseball's back. Go support your local professional baseball team, college baseball team, high school baseball team. Doesn't matter. Grow the game. We're pro baseball here. thanks for being here this week, guys. Being here early with us this morning. Drew, thank you for being here early. I know it's your off day. You had to wake up a little bit earlier to get here.
I appreciate you giving me the night off because it was chaos last night.
He kept
after
Drew was
2
texting
hours
me saying,
of ball practice and a screaming, come home to a screaming kid and a 2-year-old that doesn't want to go to sleep anyways.
Drew was texting me just saying, are you working tomorrow? Like, it's like, how late can you go? And I'm like, look, man, go help mama out. I'm just here chilling on the couch watching baseball. I had the Cubs on one side. I had UNC Alabama on the other. I was in a good spot. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it in the morning.
We hadn't talked about this. Opening day was yesterday. And,
should be a national holiday.
I saw you keep saying that. You could not be further from the truth because baseball is not a national sport. It's just not.
It should be, though. It's most romantic of the sports. Like, come on, man. Anyway.
Yeah, well, it's the most nostalgic of sports, but sometimes nostalgia isn't enough to get its own holiday because today baseball is not. It's nearly as good as yesterday baseball. And the Cardinals are going to stink again because for what I think is the third year in a row, our opening day starter is Miles Michaelis, and he got killed.
Yeah. The Cubs took the defending AL champs 2 extras last night, lost in walk-off fashion, but look good, look competitive,
Astros?
Oh, sorry, runner-up, Rangers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, all right, well, Rusty, you go shower up, you get ready for work. I'm going to go whip up some eggs and some pancakes and some bacon for the kids, and we're going to have a fun day at the house because we're celebrating the day that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ died.
There you go. with bacon and pancakes.
Which is not a day to celebrate, I don't think. Man,
no.
So celebrate's the wrong word.
I saw a meme this morning. It was like Judas to Jesus, like, hey, you coming to the Last Supper? Jesus like, what supper? Judas is like, normal supper. Nothing to hear here. It's funny.
It's funny. So, all right. I appreciate everybody for stopping by and hanging out with these 2 buffoons for another week.
Yes, sir. See y'all next week.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the 2 Buck Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next time.